G'day mates and welcome back to the Unreal World. Sometimes you may hear something in the background. This time it is going to be not a game sound. There is a bit of a gale force wind blowing at my house at the moment and I'm doing the best I can to minimize it. But I find that occasionally it will pop up in the recording a little bit if you know what to listen for. So pardon the background noise there. I will try to minimize it as much as humanly possible. Now, we've gone a little bit further. It's only about 2 days or so later. So it's another 13 or 14 days until our smoked food is ready. Up over here, you'll notice we are abundant, which is the largest or highest nutrition level you can be. That's effectively because we're eating tasty, which is good quality cooked, roasted elk fat. We're basically eating a huge amount of calories packed into each mouthful. So, as our hunger meter fills up, we can eat, a couple of mouthsful, and it's just basically roasted fat that we're eating. So the amount of calories packed into that is really good for our nutrition. There is information in the game files with regards to protein, fat, and carbohydrate balance for plants, but I don't believe it's currently implemented. So for this part of the game, it's really just raw calories is the most important thing to do. And there are some foods, like for example, I think there are berries. You can continuously eat them, but you will gradually starve over time, even if you're gorging yourself on them, because some of them have such a low level of nutrition that the effort in collecting them and then eating them just doesn't do anything for you. If you can cook them into a porridge, though, I believe that does improve it somewhat. Either way, what we're going to be doing this episode is clothes finding, or clothes making, I think is the correct verb there. What we're going to be doing is, let's have a quick look here, making some clothing leather stuff. Now, have a quick look at our armor coverage. This is our blunt coverage. You can see that our hands and head are not covered at all, and our legs, if we took a club here, we'd probably fall over, but our shins and stuff and our groin area and waist are effectively partially protected, or very well protected, our second highest protection, but other parts of us are a bit lacking. We have a look at pointing attacks, so spears and things like that. We're pretty shitty all around, and our legs are the worst, mainly because of what we're wearing, which is only woolen pants. Now, wool will not stop pointing at all. This low level of inferior protection may be that, they stab us, and sort of rather than going right through the meat of our leg, slides off and gets caught in our woolen clothing instead. The actual clothing itself is not protecting us. We do have fur up here, but fur will be punctured fairly easily as well. In terms of squeezing, we're exactly the same. I don't know of anything that does a squeezing attack. Maybe some animals do those. I don't think there are any weapons that I'm aware of that do that. Edge attacks are things like swords. They tend to be the easiest to defend against with regards to metal sort of things, and most armors will protect against edge attacks. More so than, say, point or blunt. Tear attacks are, again, animal attacks, and we are effectively identical to an edge attack. And of course, protection against cold is, we're pretty good. We're not going to get frostbite on our nether regions, and our feet will stay pretty good, but our fingers and head, even if we are fairly comfortable in terms of, if we have a look at our warmth over here, we're cold, but even if we were, say, warm, we're still getting the occasional thing that our fingers and hands are feeling cold. So it's because we don't have any gloves on. And our overall average is the one we're looking at here, excluding warmth. That's warmth. But our overall average for armor is pretty lackluster, as you can see. So. Let's look at what we're wearing. We're wearing footwear. So we've got some fur shoes on, and they're more like fur boots because they come up sort of up to our shins, up to our knees almost. We've got a rough fur shirt on, and some woolen trousers. We've got leather boots on as well. Hang on, am I wearing those? No, I'm not wearing. I'm carrying leather boots. I could wear them if I wanted to. So we've got the rough fur footwear on instead. So leather boots are just a little bit of leather that I'm carrying. I'm also carrying some harsh stag leather, which is the leather we made out of that stag. Unfortunately, it's gone down to pretty crappy quality, which is a little bit unfortunate. Now, we're a little bit tired, but we should be able to start making some clothing. So we'll have a look at the clothes menu. This is the, I guess, the generic thing. This is unmodded. I'm sure there are other modded ones I have down here. I think birch bark crafting. Yep, some of this is all part of the modding. This is part of the self-sufficiency mod. and of course the weaving, which is not actually making clothing, but it is preparing it, and then the tailoring. This is all from, I believe, the self-sufficiency mod or one of the other mods that I'm running at this point. So we're going to go through just generic vanilla style because I think that is the best for our situation at this point. And some of the armor down here is going to be less important to us immediately. What I really want to focus on is getting these first 5 items done. And then we can replace them for our summer wear. Yeah, some nice summer leather wear going. This other stuff here will be handy. Curious, for example, is a like a piece of chest armor. So it'll go over us, maybe cover our shoulders, our arms a little bit as well. I don't know exactly. Looks like I can't press F1 to get help on this one. Shin guards obviously protect our shins. Forearm guards protect our elbows and forearms. And then the rest are less armor, but will still act as some form of armor. So let's start with a belt. It'll protect our groin region and requires a very minuscule amount of leather. We can actually turn these leather boots into a belt, which will be great. A decent leather belt, excellent. So that is fairly good quality. Next up, we're going to make a leather cap because we need something for our hat, for our head. We don't want to use the belt, but we'll use what's left of the boots, and then we'll start chopping into our stag leather. What do we got here? Decent leather cap, even better. Looks like we're getting decent things despite having harsh leather, so lower quality leather. We're still making level 3, so middle level quality clothing. This may not last though, especially when we start getting onto these bigger things here. So we'll make a shirt or something. We'll use the leather again, and we're using 6 pounds of it this time. This is a quarter of our remaining leather. It's also taking a hell of a lot longer. So this one will use up quite a bit of. It doesn't say what skill we're using. We are using our northern knife. I put our broad knife into our inventory just in case, but it seems the northern knife is the correct one to wear here. Let's actually wait here a bit longer. Now we need to make more clothing. Leggings will be the next one. We should have enough here. We've got more than enough. I think we'll even get some of the armor done as well. So one animal should be enough to make a full leather set. A big animal that was. We got here, looks like we've done that as well. Rough stag leather leggings. I didn't see what quality of our shirt was, but here we go. The other ones were decent quality because we were using bits of good leather as well. So we take the good leather from the boots and use those to make a good quality belt and things like that. But now that we're using entirely lower quality materials, we can't improve them. They are what they are, and we'll do the best we can with what we've got. Let's have a quick bit of food, have a drink, and I think we're actually going to head off to sleep. So we are ready to drop. Something wakes me up in the distance. I think it's my animal waking me up. It could be birds flying around. Either way, let's go back to sleep. There's nothing coming to kill us. It is night time, but that's no biggie. What we're going to do is just continue on making more leather. So I've made leggings. I'm going to make some shoes now. Yeah, so these two are rough because we're using harsh stag leather. It's not the worst stag leather. It's level 2, but it is somewhat crappy. These two, though, are good quality, and that's why I started using the small things with the boots. I was hoping that would take effect. I was hoping also that these would be good quality as well, but it appears not. And down the bottom right, Remy is obviously doing a bit more Hearts of Iron stuff. I will see if I can edit that out, although I keep forgetting to put myself offline on Steam. Either way, using 2 pounds of leather of the harsh stag leather, we're going to make ourselves some leather shoes, which would be nice. Excellent. Again, rough stag leather shoes. We'll do the best we can. Now we've got all the basic stuff here. From here on, we've got 1.5 pounds there. We've got 3 pounds there, and we've got, it's the curious, we'll take the most, 4.5 pounds. We should have enough with what we've got. So in that case, let's start working on, get the smaller things done first. Use stag leather. And we may even be able to sell some of this stuff if it's, I don't know, they may not buy it though if it's crappy quality. Let's make some shin guards. And I probably should be also waiting for my fatigue to go down because it's giving us a fairly big negative. Rough shin guards. I would hate to actually lose something and get even worse quality than what we're currently making, just through my own carelessness. And of course the cuirass will make at the end here. We're 8 pounds left, 4.5 will go on to the leather cuirass, and we'll have a little bit left over for bits and pieces that we may need in future. For example, repairs as we take damage. In fact, I wonder why I didn't just use those boots, because these are leather shoes. The other ones were leather boots. I should have used, that was silly of me. I've used the leather boots into making these two. What I should have done was use this crappy leather here to repair the boots that are now gone, and there would be better quality than shoes. Pieces of clothing protect the legs, hips, groin, thighs, knees, and calves. Okay, leggings are pretty good. They give extra protection as well as warmth, and we can even wear them instead of trousers, which is great. The shirt has no information. Forearm guards. They can be made out of lamella or leather. Lamella is like little discs or rectangles of metal that you sew on top of a leather or silk shirt. In our case, ours is just leather, so it's not spectacular, but it's pretty good. Protect the outer bone of a calf from attack. Vulnerable to injury. Yeah, so what these do, these shin guards will hopefully protect us from have our legs knocked out from under us should a battle we get involved in go badly. Allow us to keep maneuvering. Breastplate and backplate to cover the thorax and abdomen, often worn on their own. A cuirass can be made of leather, but of course the lamella ones are the ones that we're going to get from the Jerps, whatever they are, who are off to the far east, which we haven't really encountered yet. But it's these purple guys over here. Hopefully that'll be sort of the end. We'll go out in a blaze of glory. We'll go out trying to raid them and kill them in the future, maybe, if people are interested in that. But for the time being, look how many caves there are up north here. There's not very many of them down south here. You can see this with these little white triangles on the map. Then up here, there's like an entire mountain range almost with caves everywhere. It's really kind of interesting. Maybe we could live in those as we travel eastwards and then southwards down to those guys. Who knows? But I'd like to start moving. Once we've got this food prepared that we're currently smoking up in the smokehouse in the village, we may consider packing our animal up if I can get a little bit more leather to start building a coat, and then travelling around and seeing if we can find some seals up there that'll be resting throughout the summer. But we're very nearly ready to go. We've got all the tools I think we're going to need. We've got looks like I've dropped them somewhere over here. I'm starting to organise our piles up a little bit. We've got a club, our hand axe, fisher's knife came with us. We've got a bow with some arrows. We've got a metal shovel now, which is great. It's crappy, but it'll do. A fishing rod. We've got a couple of extra things that we need for making arrows later. We've got skis for the winter. And over here, we've got a whole bunch of tongs, whetstone, etc., etc., an iron hammer. So things are starting to look pretty good. A whole bunch more bog iron and a bunch of charcoal. But at this point, it's fairly crappy quality. I'll load it up if we have spare space on our animal, but I don't imagine us requiring it. And of course, we've got a whole bunch of cords here, tying equipment, that we can start to use as required. Other things here are starting to not really be worthwhile. I'll probably leave a lot of these behind. The tallow, I'm not sure what I can do with the tallow. What is tallow? It probably won't have a... there's no information on it. 4 pounds of tallow. No idea what we'll do with that. I think you can use it for cooking if you need fats and stuff for cooking, or something else. Either way, we'll figure that out as we go along. What we'll do now, though, is let's take all our clothes off. So we'll take off our footwear, shirt, and our trousers. So we're now standing here buck naked. Let's drop them here for now. Actually, no, we'll drop them on top of... Yeah, actually, we'll pick that up. We'll drop all our good clothes right here, which is going to be our footwear, our shirt, our woolen trousers, and the fur overcoat we were wearing earlier in the year. Drop those there. What we're going to do now is wear. I don't think it matters the order I put them on it, but we'll start off putting our pants on. Then we'll put our shirt on. Then we will put our shoes on, our cap, our belt to hold everything up, and we'll add the other stuff later on We'll see how we're going. Let's have a look at our armor coverage. So blunt attacks now, our neck and face are not protected, and our forearms not protected from anything. Point, we're really weak on point here, so it looks like leather is not good for pointing. Edge, we're getting a bit better. Our belt is good. You can see here now the difference between, so leather is better for bite and claw protects than edge, whereas before the fur we were wearing was equally good. And of course warmth we're not so good at. Our average armor is actually pretty shitty, so I may need to wear a few more things. Either way, we'll throw on the shin guards, the forearm guards, and the cuirass. Let's have a look at our armor again. Things are looking a bit better in the chest here. Our elbows are a vulnerable point there because we've got some shin guards or some arm guards on, but a bit of an opening. So let's consider how much weight is this. A fair bit of weight. It's not unreasonable. If I were to consider throwing on the additional stuff here, if I can I wear these? No. Can I pick those up? Oh, I'm moving them. God damn it. Pick up. Hit the wrong button. I want to pick up my footwear, my shirt, and my trousers. I want to wear. It's adding a little bit of extra weight on. This is going to make us too hot. It really keeps us well armored now because we've got fur on top with leather underneath. So blunt is spectacular. We've got a huge amount of padding because we've got a couple of layers of clothing in our chest, body armor. We've got the leggings, the shin guards, and the wool, the fur boots, as well as I suppose the woolen pants. So really padding up our feet and our shins. Point. We're not really good against point attacks. Really, our leather armor is the only bits that'll hold us there. Squeezing attacks were pretty good, although again, I don't know what actually squeezes us. Is there information on that? It doesn't say. Edge attacks, we're well protected again, and tear attacks against animals and bears, anything we may fight out there. Anything hits our body or our shins, we're pretty much good at. Our legs and our thighs are a little bit weak, and our knees could be hit. Protection against the cold, we're doing well. Although our head is somewhat weak, we can build a big fur cap to cover our neck and head later on. Overall average armor is pretty good. So I'm going to wear this for now. It does give us a fairly significant, we're carrying 20 kilos worth of clothing alone, apart from, of course, so we've got about 15 kilos of clothing, I think, counting, the bit of leather and stuff that we're carrying as well. So I'll drop this stuff here. And I don't need this broad knife. We'll got the northern knife. It seems to be better for everything. So we're now carrying, we're carrying just under 20 kilos worth of, 41 pounds worth of clothing, effectively. So, bit of a struggle. I don't want to wear this all the time, but this is going to be really good. It's definitely going to keep us warm for the time being. And if we should get into any battles, we're going to be well covered. I may end up leaving a lot of the shin guards and the other things around here on the ground because of the amount of weight we've got here, and just put them on if I plan on attacking and fighting somebody. For now, though, I'm fairly confident with what we've got, and I think that's where we're going to leave this episode. It might be a little bit shorter than some of the other ones, but we've been fairly productive and nicely focused. Our food is still going well. We've got a whole bunch of sort of bland roast cuts here that we'll eat through first, then we'll start moving through the smoked food here, and eventually onto the dried stuff. But I suspect before we've got too far through the rest of this dried stuff, we'll have our big stockpiles of stuff up in the village to the north, all smoked up and ready and preserved, so we can bring that down and start loading up our animal and preparing to move on from this place. I think within the next 2 or 3 episodes, unless something intricate and detailed pops up, I think we'll be ready to start moving on. I'm just going to probably run around the next couple of episodes or next couple of game days and just spend a bit of time here and just see how things go. I may, I don't know. I'm not sure if anyone's got any, I suppose, comments about where they'd like us to go, whether we're going west, whether we're going, north along the coast and hunt for seals, whether we go east and go out to the wilderness. Let's have a quick look at the map here. So what we are currently right here, and we're sort of like, there's an isolated village projecting control out here, but most of our kinsfolk, most of our tribe, I suppose, is sort of out this direction. They're sort of more to the west of us. So we could head out west and I guess start trading, because every village will have different things in it. We may find a shaman who can teach us our ritual to catch a fox, and then of course once we've learned that one, we can begin to learn more of them. So we could head out there and start searching villages for the shaman. Is one particular vote you guys might choose. We can go north and head along the coast looking for seals and other animals. We can go south or east and start looking through these caves and mountains, looking for more, I guess, animals and things to find, and start hunting down, getting more wildlife, getting more furs, and building up our wealth. Or another option I suppose we could consider is to begin we can begin raiding some of the other people. We can go east to the, who are they? They're the Kuika tribe, I think, and then the Owl tribe further east. Well, the Owl tribe's really big, but I suppose the Kuika's big as well, but they're just jam-packed into a small area. So we could go down and start raiding the other people down here, the Kise, the Kalmo, the Remi down south here. Probably not going to go this far. I think it might be a bit too far, but some of the neighbouring tribes, for example, the Sartola, I believe, are fairly industrious. If we go as far south as the Drick, probably not the Islanders, but as far south as the Drick, we can definitely consider raiding them, because they are fairly weak people in general, but they have really, really good equipment. So that may well be something we consider. So there's a few different options ahead of us. I'm going to sort of ponder and play a bit offline and not actually record things for the next couple of days and just move some time forward while you guys consider having a vote and see where we're going to go. Anyway guys, I've been Blxz. This has been the Unreal World with Inari of Seal Tribe. He is all prepared. He has survived the initial phase, and I think he's ready to move out into the real world, or into the Unreal World, sometime in the near future. Take care guys, leave those comments, let me know what you'd like to see, and I'll catch you up next time.